The old brothels of Yokohama. Here you put the money. 100 yen. 5 minutes of shower. The city of Yokohama. On the east side, from north to south, we have one of the most touristy areas in the whole country. An area of luxury apartments, the largest Chinatown in the country, and a luxury shopping district. Oh, and a very important soccer stadium. On the other hand, on the west side, which separates it from the north-south tracks, we have the dirty tavern area, the brothel area, and the homeless area. I'm Naka. This is Japatonic Life, and today we're going to explore the neighborhood that's most socially divided by train tracks. After Tokyo, the most populated city of all is Yokohama, which is also one of the largest cities in Japan. Yokohama is part of Kanagawa, but if there's something that represents Yokohama, it's the port. This place where we are, Minato Mirai, which means future port. The area is named so due to significant investments made in the 1990s, including shops, amusement parks, and the massive landmark tower project. The tallest building in Japan with 75 floors, and at the time, it had the fastest elevator in the world. So, on one hand, we have one of the most populated, most popular, and most touristy cities in Japan, and on the west side, this. A completely different atmosphere. It's nothing more than an ordinary neighborhood. There's nothing wrong with it. But there's a very, very different contrast from what we just saw, which is only a 2-minute walk to these alleys, which, well, you can see are a bit more rustic. Bar Street, more Bar Street, more Bar Street, and the fourth corner of Bar Street. This is basically like the Kabukicho of Yokohama. I mean, it's the area where the nightlife is, full of bars, host clubs, and hostess clubs. The red light district, well, it's a little further back. But basically, what mirrors Minato Mirai is this. On the other side of the tracks. And of course, along with the bar areas, we're also going to have love hotel areas. Love hotels over here, love hotels over there, love hotels everywhere. On the east side, once again past Minato Mirai, right next to it we have the Kanai area, which is the next train station that's right there, really close by. This area is known for having a lot of well-established offices, let's say, of relatively important companies in Yokohama. There are many, many shops of good quality and some apartments for well-off people. Let's say buying an apartment in this neighborhood costs you $500,000, at least for the vast majority. And obviously, we're talking about $500,000 and up. And officially, we're now entering the area with brothels, which interestingly is something that always happens. Where there are a lot of brothels nearby, there are always areas with homeless people. It's always like, when there are a lot of brothels in the neighborhood, the status of the neighborhood drops in many ways. I mean, here I see a lot of homeless people hanging out in the square. And of course, like in many poor neighborhoods, you can't miss the adult movie theater. There are very few. And what's more, there's something I forgot to mention. In this area of Yokohama, homosexual prostitution used to be very common. It was something that was very common, but in general, all the dark aspects of Yokohama have decreased a lot in recent years, in the last few decades, just like in Shinjuku. But of course, here there is, for example, a gay cinema, which, as far as I know, is the only one I know of, the only one I've seen so far. But of course, because that style was already popular, let's say, in the area. And, well, just across the street we have Rokuza, which is a very famous strip club. Now, this same name is in Asakusa, but, well, the one in Asakusa is much, much more famous. Even today, very famous adult film actresses go there to perform shows. But the thing is, the strip clubs here aren't like pole dancing where you give money to the girls. It's more like a theater show with full nudity. And here we also start getting into the brothel area. This, for example, is a soapland. And 50 minutes costs 10,000 yen, which is, as of the date this video is released, about $70 or $80. It's one of the cheapest soaplands you could find. I checked the reviews for this place. It's really funny because they say they're all overweight, older, with a bad attitude, bad personality, and sometimes they even smell like... One comment said the girl smelled strongly of fried chicken. Speaking of... now that I remember, I'm making a video about Hinodecho, but I'm forgetting that I have as a contact someone who is one of the kings of Hinodecho, Francisco, Uncle Japan Geek, from the channel Japan Geek. And he worked a lot in this area about 20 years ago. I'm going to ask him to send me a voice message about what he remembers, what he can tell me about this neighborhood. This alley is really interesting. It makes me feel like I'm in China. No, oh, look! I think those are... Wow, what is that? They are... Mini snacks, mini shops, it's like Golden Guy, but the Yokohama version. I'm going to send an audio message to Francisco to ask him. Hey Poncho, all good? I'm making a video about Yokohama and thought of you because of the Hinodecho area. Give me a brief summary of what you remember about this neighborhood so I can tell the audience. Take care.
Hey Naka, how's it going? Look, this part of Yokohama, it has stories that have filled hundreds of pages in newspapers and local tabloids about fights, clashes between mafias and criminals. The Hinodecho area is where all the little houses were, where girls who sold sexual services used to work. And the Fukutomicho area was where the hostess clubs were, which was a little cleaner. And there were also the illegal casinos, a lot of illegal casinos there. Each part, each section, each district of Hinodecho and Fukutomicho was supervised by different groups. They all still reported to the main family, but each group had its own area of control, and they were always in conflicts, especially at night. There were nightclubs that opened after 5, after 6 in the morning in Hinodecho, where people of all nationalities would come, but everyone had quite a long criminal record. So people who stole cars would come, people who sold illegal substances, and the girls who worked there too in Hinodecho, in the little houses. So it was a place where a high concentration of crime gathered and where the police were very watchful. In Fukutomicho, high-ranking mafia members frequented hostess clubs with Japanese, foreign, and Korean women. There were many such, and inside those establishments, a lot of problems would happen. There are even news reports about shootings and stabbings in some very well-known buildings. And well, that was the story about that part of Yokohama.
Look at what this is. This place must be crazy at night. I love it because it's just like the Yokohama version of Golden Guy. From what I can see, they're all bars where 4 or 5 people can fit. 3 seats here and another 3 over there. 6 people can fit in that bar, and everyone sits right next to each other. But honestly, these places are really busy. I like them a lot. Now I get it. I know where we are. This is where Yokohama's former brothels were located. This is where, just like in Osaka, it used to be before. Where the brothels were, with one door right next to the other. And at each door there was a girl on display offering services. And of course, all of that, all the prostitution, they got rid of it, and now there are little bars. But yes, this is the place. This is where that was. Look. No, it took me long to realize. Still, I know it's not just this area. It's like this area is known for that. But there were other alleys where you could also find small bars, entrances, and, well, nowadays they're bars, but before they used to be brothels. Well, on this street there's a big soapland, and here there's this soapland with a huge sign. I think I've never seen a soapland with such a big sign on a corner. So imposing that it says soapland. They're brothels where you go to do whatever. 40 minutes, 11,500 yen. Another thing I'm noticing about this is that first, the buildings are very old. You can tell they're buildings from the 60s or 70s. This type of building design was quite typical back then. And another thing is that I see a lot of foreign-style restaurants, Vietnamese food, Italian, Chinese, Taiwanese. The area has many people working here, seemingly a significant number of immigrants. This alley is very interesting and full of brothels. Over there it's packed. Over there it's packed. This is way more than what I can see in any neighborhood in Tokyo. So good. These Korean noodles, which I've always seen in Korean dramas. I've always wanted to try them with this really dark sauce. This is really good. On the east side, we have Yokohama Stadium, right in front of a beautiful park with a pond that even has turtles and everything. And on that side, just over there, right across the street, we have Chinatown. On the east side, we have Chinatown, one of the largest Chinatowns in Asia, and, well, at least the largest in Japan. And it's a neighborhood that, honestly, I really like a lot because there are tons of places to eat. Above all, it's one of the places where you can find the most street food. You can buy something to snack on here, something to snack on there. Honestly, it has a very special appeal, which is the appeal of Chinese culture, right? All the lamps, the lights, all of that. Here you can find a lot of cooking spices. The restaurants, though, the restaurants all seem like copies and replicas of each other. They all have, let's say, an all-you-can-eat menu, where you can order anything you want from the menu for a pretty cheap price. The food isn't bad at all, but they're all the same. It's like you can't find any difference between one restaurant and another. It's great to eat here. I often bring tour groups to this place. These are the yorompos. And it's very important to know how to eat them before trying them for the first time. These have juice inside, a lot of broth, and it's very hot. You can burn yourself with this. So the way to eat it, well, you can add a little bit of black vinegar to give it some flavor. And when you bite into it, you have to suck it. Luckily, it wasn't that hot. One is filled with pork and the other with seafood. It's excellent. I love it. What you should never do is just bite straight into it because you'll splash everywhere. You have to bite and suck at the same time. There are people who burn themselves with this. It's not just the Chinatown. Here, walking about 200 meters towards the sea, we have a very nice, very large park, and at the end of the park is the giant life-size Gundam, which moves. So, we have a tourist area, then another tourist area in Chinatown, and a big tourist attraction like the Gundam for you to enjoy. And going back to the east side, we have a regular commercial area, a pedestrian street with the usual things. Fast food chains, supermarkets, stores for shopping, a Don Quixote, the usual stuff. And yes, right here on the same pedestrian street, just half a block in, the red light district starts again, and wow, there really are a lot. These are the places where they show you where you can go, what you're looking for. Look, this just says 18. For people over 18, they don't have any other kind of advertising. But do you know what might attract the most attention in this area? It's that we can find brothels in the middle of an avenue. You know, it's actually really strange because I've never seen brothels on a big avenue before. And more than one. Of course, if you go into the alleys, there are more. But just look at the size of this avenue. There's a shopping center across the street. A supermarket. There are buses going by, a lot of traffic. Usually when I've seen it, it's on avenues that aren't very big, let's say. But having brothels on such a major avenue really surprises me, especially compared to the alleys. Infinity Bar Zone, that place that's so discreet, where nobody knows anything, is actually a happening bar. Well, I've already made a full video about what happening bars are, which are basically places for casual encounters. Huge signs. This is an emikura, for example, which is, well, I've also already made a video about the types of sensual services that exist, and these are, well, themed around schoolgirls. Look, this one? Here you have one called Rush Hour Station, and this is also one that simulates being on a crowded train. We were walking down the pedestrian street where all the regular shops are. On one side there are brothels, and on the other side there are brothels too. They're everywhere, all around. It's just that, well, on this side I see there aren't as many. Here you can see this big store, and over there, well, you can see a sign somewhere. It's not that crowded in this area. But there are so many. And here is the other place that I understand is just like it used to be in Osaka. And also, this really reminds me of Osaka, because they have the same doors. Of course, in Osaka, since there are women's services now, it's impossible to record. But they were exactly the same. They were small doors like this, but double, and inside there were services of women. Well, nowadays they've cleaned all that up, and now there are all kinds of shops. I see there's a barber shop, a bar, just regular, ordinary shops. And this is already the Hinodecho area. And from Chinatown, it's just across a bridge. We're going to find Motomachi, which is the most luxurious shopping street you can find in Yokohama. Motomachi is the most luxurious street you could say in the city of Yokohama, or at least the one with the most luxurious and beautiful atmosphere. As you walk down these streets, you kind of notice it. It's not like it's a Ginza either, right? Maybe it doesn't reach that level, but at least in terms of the atmosphere of the area, it's pretty fancy. The area has jazz music to set the mood in the shopping alley, and then, kind of in parallel, there's another alley that's also commercial to give it a bit of a European vibe. Italian-style food, maybe? Oh, well, I thought this was a French restaurant, but no, it was a hair salon. The Italian restaurant. The street itself already has a different design, right? The pavement. It's not regular asphalt. A lot of jewelry stores, and also, something this neighborhood has that few neighborhoods have. There are benches for you to sit on in the street, because yeah, in Japan, there aren't places to sit in public areas. I thought it was a jewelry store, but it's a pastry shop. No, but the number of jewelry stores in this neighborhood is incredible. Jewelry stores are everywhere, even in inner alleys. I also thought it was a jewelry store, but it turned out to be chocolates. On one side here, we come from Motomachi, this bridge that crosses this river, the highway bridges, and over there is the train station. And over on that side, it splits off into a completely different area from the one we just saw. And finally, obviously on the east side, we have Kotobukicho, which is the area that, well, the Japanese call Doyagai. Well, those who have been longtime followers of the channel know that Doyagai is what they call the cheapest accommodations that exist, which are basically just a cubicle, and usually, let's say, homeless people or those who are about to become homeless stay there. And this, well, yes, exactly. This is an area that's full of that kind of accommodation, and where you find that kind of accommodation, you find homeless people in the area. Whoa! Look at the vending machines with alcohol. Wow! It reminds me of Osaka again. You can tell it's kind of a rough neighborhood. The fact that there aren't any convenience stores, but there are vending machines for alcoholic drinks. The only thing missing are newspaper vending machines. It's nice. Personally, I love these alleys. They have a lot of charm. It's like they relax your mind because, I mean, you won't feel unsafe, that's obvious, but it relaxes you because it's such an informal atmosphere, you know, and that's it. I'm a big fan of this kind of alley. There's a man lying on the ground. Well, that kind of gives you an idea of the homeless environment, right? The man who's lying there on the ground is probably drunk and at the same time maybe sick. Well, here we find what are called coin showers, coin-operated baths. This, for example, is the first time I've seen one of these, which is a place where you pay for the shower. Soap and shampoo for 100 yen. Towel for 100 yen. It must be a disposable towel, and here are the showers. Here you put the money, 100 yen, 5 minutes of shower. Another thing is that I see it's very common in this neighborhood. There are a lot of coin laundries. I mean, well, coin laundries, which are laundromats that use coins. And these are the places that are, look, I just saw, I'm not going to go in, but these are those illegal gambling places. They're showing on television what are boat races, horse races, and all that, and of course people bet there. It's really funny.
Are you filming?
I'm filming. But yes, the atmosphere here changes a lot. This is the employment center. So we're inside what is the community center area, and right in front is the neighborhood's community center. So yes, that makes it even more concentrated, the people who are homeless. And that's why, well, in this plaza, they gather to see if there's any odd job or if some food comes up for them. But anyway, speaking of what I was saying, the only thing missing were the newspaper vending machines. Alcohol and newspaper vending machines are available when convenience stores are not present. Well, of course, I imagine that homeless people sometimes might have some coins on them. Maybe they say, well, I feel like entertaining myself with something. They buy the newspaper and, well, they have something to read for a while, right? What is this? A daycare? No, it was a community center. What are these places? Community centers, maybe? Well, this one is definitely a doya. Here, they probably charge very little for lodging. Doyas, when they're at least somewhat decent inside, cost 1,700 yen per night. That's about $12 more or less. But honestly, it's not something where you'd say, wow, staying in a doya is really cheap. There are some that, if I understood correctly, might cost 500 yen per night, although I can't guarantee that price. But those places basically don't have a sign, they don't have a price list or anything, and they look pretty run down, and those are probably the cheapest ones. However, I still don't think it's as dirty as Osaka. That's certain. It's great that if you're watching this video and you haven't seen the Osaka video, I don't know what you're waiting for, because it's one of the most successful videos on the channel. Honestly, it's a different Japan. This really is the Japan that Japan doesn't want to show. The one nobody teaches you about. I mean, I really like to show this kind of environment, you know, because it keeps you grounded. So that people can see that Japan is like any other country, in many ways. There are always things to debunk. There are good things, bad things, but there are always things to debunk and to show a more realistic side. I've been told by many that I reveal Japan's true nature. It's not that there's a real or fake side. All sides are real, it's just a matter of which reality you can show. But anyway, that's all, folks. Greetings to you, your pets, your family, and your dumb neighbor. Bye.